So today I'm going to show you how to make stamps. You're going to use this bench hook and it's going to hook up on the edge of your desk or your table. And then you're going to use the little linoleum cutters, and there are different kinds of blades for those. So make sure that you're choosing the blade that you need. Typically, y'all are going to use probably these smaller blades. So then you're going to stick it in there and you're going to tighten it up. If you are realizing, hey, like it's not tightening, and again, open it, see if there are two pieces in there. If there are, then you can just screw it back together. And then get the blade that you want. You're going to take the wider curved part of the blade and stick it inside, and then you will twist it tight. And then some of the blades are for different uses. So just make sure that you're using the blade that is for the appropriate usage. Okay, so what y'all are going to do for this project is you are going to choose different parts of plants. So cut the amount of linoleum that you need. Do not get too much linoleum because you do not want to be wasteful. This linoleum is very expensive. So draw out exactly what you want to be carving out. So I drew a leaf, I drew a petal, and then I will draw a circle that will be the center of the flowers. So each group is going to have each person do one part of a plant. So for example, if y'all chose a cactus, then one person would do the body of the cactus, one person would do one arm, another person would do the other arm, maybe one person would do a flower, and then another person would do a pot. And so you're going to take your linoleum cutter and you're going to cut towards the bench hook. You do not want to cut towards yourself because you don't want to cut yourself. And make sure you're not putting too much pressure in because you're going to go through the linoleum and it's going to pull the blade out. And then when you try and put the blade back in, sometimes it won't stay because you messed it up. So I am noticing, wow, this is like really loose. What is going on? So when I investigate and I open it up, I will notice, okay, there's a missing part. So like I said earlier, there should be two halves. This one only had one. So I go and I switch it out and I am going to get another cutter. And again, make sure your linoleum is pressed up against the bench hook and you are cutting towards the bench hook, not towards yourself. So you're just going to carve out those lines in the center where you had drawn. You do not have to carve the outside lines because you're going to end up cutting these out with scissors or with the blade. Okay, so I'm going to take this blade and I'm going to try and cut this out. But some of the blades are really dull. So if it is not working properly and you can't cut it out the way that you want to, or you're struggling like I'm struggling right now, then I would suggest you can try doing chopping motions like that instead of trying to slide it through because it's like making it really rough. Like it is not going well. So you can try and chop it and try and trim it like that. Or you can take scissors. So I would suggest if your blade is dull that you give up with that blade and you just take scissors and you trim that up exactly the shape that you want it. If you do not have it trimmed to the shape that you want it exactly, then however it is, that's how the stamp is going to stamp on your paper. And all of the parts that you carved out are going to be white on your paper, theoretically, as long as you're not using too much paint. So please make sure that you are getting it the exact shape and size that you want it so that it doesn't mess up y'all's pictures, okay? So each person is going to do one. I'm doing all of them just to kind of show you what the end goal is going to be. So again, just carve out the center pieces and make sure that your linoleum is pushed up against the back of the bench hook and that you are carving towards the bench hook. Do not carve towards yourself. You really don't want to slip on accident and then like slice your finger open because all of that carving on the linoleum is basically the same amount of carving that could happen on your skin. So make sure that the linoleum's up against the bench hook and you are carving towards the bench hook, okay? And then when you are done, again, you can try doing the chopping with the blade, or you can see if you can get a sharper blade to try and slice it open, or again, trim it with scissors. So I prefer trimming it with scissors. I wanted to show you what the blade does though. So the leaf is the easiest because it only has that one line that you need to cut out or carve. And then the rest of it, you're just going to cut out with scissors. Now those bigger linoleum pieces, some people might be able to use those for their pieces. So don't throw away the big parts that are the extra, but those little tiny baby parts, yeah, please clean up after yourself and throw those away. Okay, so I am just trimming this up and cleaning up after myself. Now I'm going to grab a cork and I'm going to cut that cork in half. This is going to be the handle of your stamp. If your cork is not level, do not use the blade. Use the scissors to try and trim it so that it's flat. Okay, then you're gonna go and you're gonna take the hot glue gun and make sure it's plugged in, make sure glue is coming out of it, and you are going to put enough glue on the cork piece for your linoleum piece to be completely adhered. You do not want to be stamping and then your linoleum sticks to the paper, and when you're trying to pull it off, then the cork breaks off. So what I'm doing is I'm making sure that I'm pressing hard, and then I'm gonna put it up against the counter or the table, and I'm gonna press it down. Just make sure that it's all the way secure. So every single person is going to glue their own stamp, but I'm gluing them all because I'm working by myself, but all of y'all are going to be working with the group. So then all of the glue that you made a mess on the surface with, you're going to pick that off and then clean it and throw it away. So then now what you're going to do is you're going to have paint in your paint palette. And so what you're going to do is you're going to take whatever colors that you need for your stamp, okay? And so I'm going to take yellow and I'm going to take a little bit of blue and I'm going to try and make green. I was like, oh, dang, that dot of blue was not enough. So I'm going to get a little bit more. And you're just going to slowly be adding the blue to the yellow until it gets the green that you desire. And so I am going to just show you as a quick example that you're just going to put a thin layer of paint on your stamp, and then you should be able to just stamp it on your paper, and it should come out the exact way that you are hoping it comes out. You see how there's like a little bit of a white line right there? And I'm just taking the paintbrush and I'm just like filling in the edges that didn't get stamped down. So I'm going to clean my brush, and then I'm going to make sure that whatever colors I choose, I'm not dipping. Do you see how I just got red in the blue? Do not do that. You need to clean your brush in between every color. So I'm taking red, taking blue, I'm taking yellow, I'm mixing them all together. It will make brown, okay? So you too much paint, because if there's too much paint, then it will just be really, really thick on there and you're not going to see all of the little white lines, okay? So I'm cleaning my brush, and then I'm going to get some yellow, clean my brush, and then I'm going to get some white, and then I'm going to mix those together because I want a light yellow. I don't really want that like super, super bright yellow. I kind of want it to look pastel-y or like a peep, okay? And so I'm putting paint on there, and then I'm going to make the flower. But what you want to do is you want to take the paintbrush and you want to have the paintbrush be like up and down vertically like that, so that you can scrape out the paint that's in between the lines. Because if you don't scrape out the paint that's in between the lines, you're not going to see the white lines. So that's what you're going to do, and you're just going to do that over and over again. And everybody's going to take turns with everyone in their groups stamps. So you are not the only one using your stamp. Everyone in your group is going to be using your stamp as well to build the plant that y'all chose. Okay, so I'm just going to continue doing this until it makes a complete flower. And again, make sure that you are using the paintbrush vertically to scrape all of the paint out of the lines so that there's no paint and there can be some white lines. So then I'm going to take the green, going to paint on the leaf stamp, and then I'm going to put 2 leaves on here. And on this part, I'm going to fill that in, and then I'm going to clean my brush. I'm going to take some of that yellow, and I'm going to paint the petals over the leaf so that they can look like they're in front of it. So then I'm going to cut it to be the exact size that it needs to be so that there's no mess ups or anything. So that's it. If you have any questions, put them in the comments below. Bye, y'all.